Morning, people. Rum Runner here with another review of a Premier League game that we've had today. Manchester United versus Chelsea. For me, before the game, key players would have been for Chelsea, Eden Hazard, another one, Paul Pogba. Big rivalry between Conte and Mourinho, with the two teams being a couple of the best teams in the country. It had the makings of a great game, and the build-up was there. The stage was set with some of the best players in the country on display. Unfortunately, I had to watch this game on mute as Alan Smith again was commentating the fixture. Guy really doesn't have a clue what he is talking about. Can't stand him. Think he's an absolute donut. Anyway, get back into the review. First 15 minutes seemed very quiet. Both teams, realistically, you could see Chelsea were pushing forward more than Man United, not really playing up the field. Lukaku was just feeding off little chips through from Paul Pogba. Nothing really that he could do with them, to be fair. It always amazes me when people say that Lukaku doesn't perform on the big stage against the big teams, simply because he's not fed the greatest of passes or anything like that. For Chelsea, it was nice to see Alvaro Morata making a return. Maybe Chelsea could be able to create some chances for an out-and-out striker to finish, or have they got used to not playing with a forward? Man United, after first 25 minutes, Chelsea realistically being in control of possession, whatnot. Man United decided, to come alive with a good period of attacks, which they should have scored with. Sanchez should have taken a shot on the 25th minute mark. Instead, he tried to control it and roll it and poke it in. It ended up just more like a trickle towards Courtois. Sanchez, I've never understood why people think he is so great. Don't get me wrong, he works insanely hard for the team he plays for. But at Arsenal, he looked good, and that was because he was playing for Arsenal. They don't really have any world-class players there. Now at Man United, he looks like a player you could sub off or sub on without any great expectation from him, in my point of view. Moving on, 31 minutes in, Chelsea scored with a rocket shot from William. Great counter attack. Started off from William, running up the field, passing it on to Hazard. Hazard played the ball beautifully back into William. Covered lots of ground, so he deserved a goal from the maximum effort that he put in. Though I do think De Gea should have done a lot better, as the strike was right next to him. Maybe it was just the power that outdone him, really. 38 minutes going into the game, a bit more. Lukaku, he managed to put the ball in. Put the ball in the net. Bit of shambolic defending by Chelsea. A bit of luck from Man United to be able to get away from that. Prior to that, Chelsea seemed to be in control of the game, not in a real rush to do anything. They were lacking, in all fairness, they lacked being pressurised by Man United. Most of Man United's play had come better down on the left-hand side, with Martial and Young really working Victor Moses down the line. Don't get me wrong, Moses did quite well, but 2-on-1 all the time down that wing. There's only so much you could do. So after that, the game coasted towards half-time. Third, done 45 minutes. It was to be fair, very equal. Both teams did have their little periods of possession. Chelsea probably had a bit more possession, but both teams not really looking to spark anything, not really trying to smash in a goal or anything like that. It was neither team really tested the keeper. So second half started, Man United really came out. It looked like Mourinho had really gone to town on them in the dressing rooms. Shock though, a shot goal nearly came in this shot goal, where Danny Drinkwater nearly bagged himself a goal from 20 yards out. De Gea saved it, but I think it was put off probably by the sun, and it did take a little bit of a bounce before reaching him there. So as midfield go for Chelsea, I don't find they don't get enough goals from the likes of Drinkwater or Kante. The only thing I can think of is at least their lack of goals are subsidised by goals from the likes of Hazard and Willian. 60 minutes in, both teams look comfortable, with Man United probably having a bit more of the possession this time in the second half. Both teams reverted to that less pressure on the opposition, not really looking for goal, opting for that slower build-up. Something I don't like watching because it can get a bit tedious, a bit boring, because you just want to see some goals, some good hard tackles, that type of thing in a football match. Then tactics started to come into play a bit more from both managers. 63 minutes in, Martial was taken off for Lingard. It surprised me a little bit, as I thought Martial was having a better game than Sanchez and McTominay, though. I'm glad to see Lingard come onto the pitch as he's a contender for a place at the World Cup spot this summer for England. I quite like him. I think he works really hard and he's always a goal threat, even though he does look a bit off the pace in some games. He could still bag you a goal out of nothing, which is always a good thing. Moving on, substitution came on, football resumed, and then 66 minutes in, Lukaku has a speculative effort. It was like a sideward bicycle kick. Courtois had to turn it over for a corner. The shot was assisted by Alexis Sanchez, who most will say that he did well at that point. But if you really look at it, what actually happened, he could have chested that down and smacked it first time. But for some reason, I always find out he wants to take a touch after a touch after a touch after a touch. So I don't understand it personally, but to be fair, in the end, the ball he played was a decent one. Lukaku pulled off a good shot, could easily been a goal. Man United in this half, they seemed to be the team that were going to make things happen, though the tempo of the game had slowed down quite a bit, and you could tell this Hazard was taken off, replaced by Pedro. In all fairness, it did make sense from Conte. It's one thing that he does do well, his substitutions, I think, over Mourinho. Mourinho, I never seem to agree with his substitutions. Sometimes his substitutions don't make any sense. But Hazard, he failed to influence the game like he normally does today. I think that he did take a little bit of a knock off Valencia, which added to his pain a bit more because he was having a pretty average game. Then the game again, it started coasting again, but then when it looked like nothing was going to happen, Lukaku had 3 defenders around him, but he does a nice, tasty little step over, pushes that ball out, and managed to get a nice, tidy cross in where Lingard just got himself some space between Christensen and Azpilicueta, nodded one home beautifully. Straight away, though, at the restart, Willian tried to get the teams back on level terms in a similar situation to where he scored, but De Gea this time was not going to be beaten. His face really showed determination. If you actually watched it on Sky, you can see De Gea's like, yeah, I'm having this one. You're not getting too over on me there, son. Then straight away again, Lindelof nearly gifted another goal to Pedro. United defence were looking really shaky. I don't know if they were overexcited that they were winning in a game that they weren't thinking they were going to win or whatever. To be fair, Man United's defence haven't been great. I've always found I like Phil Jones. Don't rate him. I hope he doesn't go to the World Cup. Smalling probably the better one between Jones and Smalling himself. Still, don't think he's a great player, but he gets the job done at times. Conte obviously felt that the United defence was feeling a bit shaky, a bit wobbly. So then he throws Giroud onto the pitch in the hope that he can make a decent impact on the game. Mourinho, of course, being that man manager, that guy that plays that tactical game, he straight away countered that by taking Sanchez off, bringing Eric Bailly on into the defence. Obviously, that became a game of tactics because now, Chelsea have two big lads up front, but they haven't got any creativity down the centre in midfield. So that would lead Conte to take Drinkwater off and bring the highly creative Cesc Fabregas on. Chelsea were really trying to get back into it, but while Man United were defending well to get the win over the rivals today. In the last 10 minutes, things became more scrappy from Chelsea, them committing a few more fouls in desperation to get the ball back. However, the desperation didn't do them any favours as they were just running down the clock, really, which Man United were happy to accept that. 85th minute saw a goal from Chelsea, which would have brought it to 2-2, which was called offside, and it was very close. However, I believe it to be the correct decision from the linesman. Again, that creativity was brought in from Cesc Fabregas with a beautiful little chip over Morata. It was probably the linesman did a great job. To be honest with you, he's probably a couple of inches, not even a yard offside, but he is offside nonetheless. 4 minutes added on to the end of the game. Wasn't really any chances after that. Scare Man United at all. They managed to see the game out quite comfortably. So that was 3 points for Man United at the end of the game. Happy Mourinho. My man of the match, personally, I know it was awarded to Romelu Lukaku, which, he had a good game, scored one, set up one. However, for me, it was Ashley Young, played extremely well for the team, keeping that left side quiet from Chelsea attacks, and then also getting forward and hammering Victor Moses, putting him through the paces today. So well done to Ashley Young, well done to Man United. Commiserations to Chelsea, of course, and please please subscribe. I'll get more reviews coming out. Obviously now we've got the the Arsenal versus Man City in the Carabao Cup final. That review will be coming to you later. See you in a bit. Rum runner.